have about an hour for our forum, which will be on 3 sessions. We will have, in those 3 sessions, there will be 3 questions for Professor Dr. Qasim, and another 2 questions for Ms. Nafisa Aisha. Then we will provide a question and answer session for everyone here to ask any questions regarding this forum, and inshallah we will have time for both our panelists to answer, inshallah. I find that it would be rude for me not to introduce first our honorable panelists. First and foremost, we are honored to have before us Professor Dr. Qasim Hamuri. He graduated from the United States of America. He took his PhD there, and when asked about some of the sweet memories that he got from the United States, that firstly he got the PhD there, and that is a scholarship that is very excellent. And the other one is that he got married on the same day, so that's a very sweet memory. I find that very interesting, and I hope that probably I could get the same thing. Inshallah. And he lives in Houston, about 15 minutes. About 15 minutes from here. And he is the Vice Dean of Faculty of Academics in our university here in Jammu. And inshallah, it's very easy for us to meet him in the Faculty of Economics. And for our next panelist, we have very beautiful Ms. Nafisa Aisha. She is a last year student of Islamic Economics and Finance. She will graduate, and this is her last semester. She will graduate, and may we pray for her that she graduates with flying colors, inshallah. She is the eldest among 7 siblings, and one of the 7 is actually here. Right?
Oh yes.
Yes, Fatah is here, and he is just student. Yeah. And your brother is a just student, and you're Muslim. So I say that. So what is it that we need to understand about the social values of Islamic economics? It's a very simple mawdu'. It's a very simple thing for us, everyone, to understand. Even though not everyone here may be Yarmouk students or Islamic economics students, but specifically there are dental students, there are medical students, and many more. And I will give us a brief introduction about the topic. We know that the past economic theories about the Persians, the Romans, the socialists, the capitalists, and but we are now talking about Islamic economics. And what's important is that we have to understand that Islam is not a religion with sets of rituals only. No, it's not a religion of sets of rituals of Salah and Psalm for Ramadan. No, it's not just that. It's a complete set of life. It understands everything about our life needs. So Islamic economics is that. And in terms of social values, قال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم فألهمهما فجورها وتقواها الشمس في سورة الشمس in ayah 8, which implies that Allah has created the essence of morality in human nature. In that ayah itself, it states that Allah has created the essence of morality in human nature, and it's in our blood to be good and moral, and we know that we are searching for the best in terms of our morality and social values. And inshallah, it will be further discussed by both our panelists. I say that enough of me speaking, and I don't think everyone here comes to listen to me, and everyone starts saying, come on, move on. And so I say that enough of me, and let's listen to the answers by our panelists, by our great and honorable panelists. And I hope that everyone could pay as much attention as possible. You could write down the points, everything that we got, and may we benefit as much as possible from this forum, inshallah. Moving on to the first question for Dr. Qasim. I would like to ask about what are the few Islamic principles, what are the few Islamic principles in economy that reinstates what is actually Islam. Inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Thanks a lot to everyone who participated in organizing this lovely evening, and inshallah it will be good for everyone. And also it brings old memory to myself, because I was a student at this university, and this place was built in 1978. I was in my second year here. So I used to sit in there in your seats, and the first lecture here was by Dr. Jawad Al-Anani here, one of the great economists in Jordan. But this is life. This is life. Today you are sitting here as students. Inshallah, in the near future, you will be the decision makers in your countries in different fields. So, inshallah, my dua to all of you, the best and all the success, inshallah. And the term in Islamic economics, we hope for you falah. Falah, success in this life and in the hereafter, inshallah. If you like to organize this evening and this meeting as a question and answer, it's all right, it's okay. I will attempt to make it as simple as possible, regardless of your specialty and your field. I make it easy for you to understand Islamic economics. I wrote my PhD dissertation in the United States on Islamic economics, and I still doing my research and some teachings in Islamic economics. I hope at the beginning that all of you understand what do we mean by economic systems, first of all. And do we mean, when we say Islamic economics, do we mean Islamic economic system or Islamic economic thought or doctrine? We have to differentiate between the terms. Second, we might ask a question: what are the criteria for good economic performance? If I want to say that my Islamic economics system is better than your socialist economic system, what are the criteria I am using? There must be some criteria. Then I might move to the determinants of economic performance. What makes your performance better than mine? There must be some determinants to that. Answering these questions, we come to the values, to the social values. Because economic system is the set of social values governing the decision making regarding consumption, production, and distribution of wealth. So tell me your social values, I will tell you your economic system. It comes from the perception of the religion to the mankind. For example, in capitalism, their values stating that the human being, mankind, is rational, fully knowledgeable about his or her interest. So give him or her the property ownership, let them own the factors of production, give them free markets, let them seek their own interest. In this way, you will reach the public interest, the general interest for the whole country. But remember that they think that the humankind is complete, rational, fully knowledgeable. In socialism, they think on the contrary way. They think that mankind is unjust in his nature, ظلوم, usually exploit the other mankind. This is their social values. Then the best thing is to keep
the property ownership in the hands of the government. Let the government own everything, and let the government plan for the economy, what to produce, how we produce it, and to whom we produce it. All the economic questions. In Islam, our social values and our perception is different. In our religion, we think that we as a human being got limited capabilities and limited knowledge. We do not know everything. We do not know all of our interests and what's best to us. So in these areas, if we do not know about something, we go to the judgment, al-hukm al-shar'i. We go to the hukm of Allah. If it is haram, if it is mubah, if it is mandub, if it is makruh, all these ahkam khamsa, the 5 judgments, we should follow them. And in this way, in economics, we divide the general set, the universal set, into 5 subsets. We know that we cannot do the haram, and probably in some of your studies, you can differentiate between what is haram and what is makruh, and what is wajib and or fard, and what is mandub. And you live with the mubah, and you know all these things. So in our social values, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that certain things in your life, you know the best in it. Try to be rational and free to do your best. But in the other parts of your life, you have to follow my judgment. You have to follow my order. This way, we have a unique economic system. We cannot say that we are sitting in the middle of capitalism and socialism. We are on a third dimension. It is different. Why? Because so many things. We believe that ownership is something different than capitalism. We believe in istikhlaf, that we are the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth. And the principle of istikhlaf, it's like leaving Malaysia and coming to Jordan and leave your house to one of your neighbors and saying that you can benefit from my house. But be careful, I have certain orders to you. Be nice to our neighbors. Take care of the trees and the garden, etc., etc. But at the end, when you graduate from Yarmouk University, let's say, and go back there, you will ask this neighbor, why you did this? Why you did that? Because I left you as my Khalifa on this house. This is the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that we are the Khalifa of Allah on this earth. We have to do the amara for this earth. This money we earn, we have to be responsible for that. We should ask questions at the end of our life. How we get our money? How we spend our money? Everything is lawful in our life. So we'll find so many values. What's the source of our values? Is the source of the Sharia. Al-Kitab, wal-Sunnah, wal-Ijma', ويعني all of other sources, istihsan and etc. People who study in Sharia know all these things in detail. You want me to go further? Okay. So these set of values, of social Islamic values, they make altogether what's called Islamic economic system. But some people find you, when you tell them that you are studying Islamic economics, like some of my friends here, they'll say, you Muslims are strange. You put Islamic to everything. Next time you will say Islamic physics and Islamic chemistry and Islamic yeah? The problem with those people, they do not differentiate between economic system, economic laws, and economic policies. 3 of them together, they formulate economic doctrine or economic thought. In economic systems, it is value loaded. All the social values form the economic system. But when it comes to economic laws, it is the same for all systems. When we say that we have demand and supply laws, as you know, when you increase the price of one product, the quantity demanded will decrease, will fall. This is one of the laws. When you consume more and more of something, you will feel less satisfaction, less utility. It happened to all of us, Muslims and non-Muslims. You start drinking good and nice tea in the evening, you feel more pleasure in the first cup of tea more than the second one and the third one. The marginal utility, the diminishing marginal utility. So these are economic laws. It works everywhere, to all religions. But when it comes to economic system, the values, and values are huge or wide spectrum. The range of values, even when a visitor comes to you and you be nice to him and provide dinner or drinks or so, this is part of the social values, and this will affect economic system because you are going to spend part of your income on this guest. When you go to some other countries, they do not receive guests. Even if you go out with someone, you pay for your food and he will pay for his, let's say, okay? So in some societies. So this is part of our social values. Also, some of our values that we are not the absolute owner of these money or factors that we own. Part of it for miskin, for mahroom, for poor people. So we have to pay zakat for our selves. We have to zakat nama. And as you know, purity, tahara, we purify our souls and our money by paying zakat. Zakat, one of those institutions in Islamic economics, is so important. The other thing, when we talk about waqf, you will find so many students, they like to come and study in Jordan, but they cannot afford the money. Waqf is ready for them. And waqf in Islam was the source of economic development for so many centuries. But now people neglect waqf, and some of them, they do not know what's waqf. Leave alone people studying Sharia college. Ask them what is waqf, they might do not know what is waqf or types of waqf, etc., etc. Because the practice of waqf is so minimum in so many countries. I know some Muslim countries, they are good in waqf and they are still practicing waqf. Some of the other values, and we might expand later on it, even riba and the prohibition of riba. We believe that riba is haram. We cannot deal with riba. This way, we start having some a new picture, a new form of finance and Islamic banking away from riba. And also this needs some more discussion to differentiate between Islamic banking and conventional banking, and to answer questions raised by people, some of them, most of them, Muslims. They say, well, Islamic banks and conventional banks are the same. You are trying just to label the banks and Islamic bank, and it's the same. Instead of calling interest rate, you call murabaha, but it's still the same. We can clarify this or give answers and differentiate between the two firms. So those are the main institutions. We have so many social values. التراحم, this closeness to each other, it is so important. The Rasul ﷺ was saying good things about Al-Ash'ariyin in Medina. He said, I am one of them and they are one of me. When they got poor and they have some crisis in Medina, they used to bring all what they own in one pool and then divide it among themselves. Even if they want to go poor and they want to go hungry, they like to go all together and the same. And this is sometimes I call it in economics عدالة الفقر, the justice of poverty. Okay, because if you live in a place and you will find all people are the same, all of them poor, you won't feel so bad. You feel so bad when you find someone finding difficulty to buy his bread and his best things, and another one going to have dinner in Paris and come back. This is too much. You see, this is what makes you upset and what makes you unsatisfied in the society. Justice is so important. In Islam, it is one of the main social values in our religion. And my brother, he mentioned in the beginning, Islam is not a secular thing or like other religions. It is a way of life. In Islam, it goes to the roots, to the details. The way you eat, it's explained in our religion. The way you go even to the toilet is there. Everything, every detail. It's a way of life. In other religions, it is just in Sunday times, and you go to the church and you say a few words, etc., etc. But in Islam, it is a different story. So that's why some people say, why we don't have a Christian economy or Mormon economics or etc. Islam is different than all those religions. It has details. If you have economics in your religion, let's discuss it and let's have a conference to talk about Christian economics and make sure that you will have it. So we can say more about Islamic social values or Islamic institutions inside our Islamic economic system. Thanks.
MashaAllah, I find that the answers to the question is very detailed and I find that it's very good. So what I got from the point was that Islam, we don't know our needs, so we depend some of it on the judgments by Allah. We do it by them. And as we know, قال الله تعالى وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة. We are here as Khalifas of Allah, and we have to do as He says. And I believe that as the doctor said, the Islamic economic's goal is the welfare of mankind. For us, it's for us to benefit from it, inshallah. So moving on to our next panelist, Mr. Isa Aisha. My question is that what is the reality in Malaysia when we talk regarding the Islamic when we talk about the economic principles and the social values in economics in Malaysia, specifying in Islamic economics?
I was too short. Thank you to the moderator. Thank you also so much to Dr. Qasim to honor us with his presence, and of course to everyone here. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hopefully, inshallah, this is going to be my last, inshallah, sharing session with all of you. And I feel very, I was anticipating this talk the most because number one, I feel that knowing economics or learning isn't enough. Being able to explain or share it with other people and share the enthusiasm that we learn is much more important. So for me, actually sitting here is a learning process, and I actually feel better being able to talk in front of all of you beside Dr. Qasim, as opposed to being nervous, because I feel that when you're sitting beside someone who is knowledgeable in the field, you're not worried that you might make a mistake or that you might lead people astray, because you know that he will be right there listening and he will be able to correct me if I'm wrong. And so that makes me feel better about how I'm going to present and what I'm about to share with all of you. Now, actually, the question that I've been given is about Malaysia's reality. And this question I've noticed and I realized while I was researching and reading by myself that it's actually a hard question to answer, because in the beginning of our Form 4, when we study economics, we learned that Malaysia practiced what type of economic system? Anyone remember? During the Form 4? mixed. We called it a mixed economic system. We didn't say it was capitalism, we didn't say it was socialism, we didn't even say it was Islamic economics. We answered in our exam papers it was mixed economics. So it's true. When I tried to read and try to lay out, the outlines of Malaysian economics to explain to everyone today the realities in Malaysia, it is true. It is very mixed. Part, socialism, little bit of here capitalism, and also, trying to be Islam at the same time. So, inshallah, I will try to lay out as well as good as possible. Now, first of all, can raise the hands of people who are not from economics, not studying economics? Okay, those who are in their first years. Okay, so the rest of you, of course, have read a lot about Malaysian economics. I'm rest assured. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to bring up two very important points for today. I'm going to try to relay what is usually practiced in Malaysian economics through observing government, how our government applies economic policies and acts on economic policies, and also through private sectors. And also second, I'm going to touch a little bit on Islamic economics. Okay, first on, our government. Our government is stated in a lot of websites, and also based on foreign researches or other foreign papers, they say that our economics is mostly open, but also state-oriented. What that means is, yes, we have a free market, yes, we are allowed to do business and everything, but most of the policies and the effects are basically driven by what the government, most of our economic growth is basically affected and largely affected by what our government, for what policies our government gives towards our country, for our country. We can see that in our country we have a lot of achievements, alhamdulillah, throughout our years. Is among, I don't know, I looked online, I can't say the reality is truly because I'm not working, but I saw online a lot of compliments given towards Malaysia because it's the 12th country easiest to do business in, and also the third largest economy in Southeast Asia, only in Southeast Asia, okay? So it doesn't compare to other big economics, but it's quite an achievement. And this year and also last year, we've seen a dramatic increase in our GDP, and also a lot of achievements, through economic plans, because we have a lot of detailed economic plans, especially through industries and a lot of opening economic sectors. Also, we receive compliments that we are reducing the poverty lines, our poverty rates, unemployment rates, and also a lot of people are, what that means is there are a lot of people who are working, and a lot of people who are educated enough to enter the workforce. And Malaysia's workforce is considered to become minimally skilled, which means that I'll just continue that. Which means that we are skilled enough. We have skilled workers. We are able to produce for productive workers, but are not yet on the terms of those high class terms of in comparison with other developed countries. Also, we have a large domestic demand. It increased 8.3% this year, and also expanded a lot in other areas of consumption. Usually, we would just focus on things like domestic items, for example, like food and clothing. But now, our demand to buy for our own country's resources, like cars and also utilities, have increased throughout the year. That means we have more income to buy and to invest in our own products. So what does it mean when I explain all these issues and all these facts and figures and all that? What it means is that throughout our years, 50 years of independence,